become roomies in the hospital. Tonight at 11 on The Odd Couple on Channel 48.
Now, Mike, try and relax. You're working yourself up over what's probably nothing.
How am I supposed to feel knowing there's a crew out there dragging San Francisco Bay?
Now, the information Calvin gave us was sketchy at best.
Derek, my wife is missing. I can't ignore the implication.
Mike, they dragged that bay more times than you realize for hoods, accident victims, suicides.
And murder victims.
Now, stop that, Mike. Nancy is all right. You take my word for that.
Pray to God you're right.
Calvin's gonna call us as soon as he hears anything?
I'm sorry, Derek. I owe you a great deal.
Now, for what?
For being very considerate to a very worried husband these past few hours.
I'd go to San Francisco and look for Nancy myself if I could. Yes, Helen? Certainly. It's Calvin.
The Edge of Night is brought to you by Dawn. Dawn takes grease out of your way. And now Dawn has a new, fresh scent. And by Tide. Women who count on cleaning put their trust in Tide.
Coach Hawkins, what are you doing in home ec?
Washing the team's uniforms for the second time.
Washing twice? What are you using?
This.
A so-called bargain? Not a smart play, Coach.
Oh, but I saved a lot.
By washing twice, some saving. This is home economics, Coach. We use Tide so we get clothes clean first time around.
On tough, muddy dirt like that?
Sure. Is this as muddy as that was?
Oh, you bet. All my guys are tough.
Oh, Tide'll beat it with just one wash.
Hey, Tide won.
Even after you wash this twice.
Tide was the clean winner 2-1.
Coach, the smart money's on Tide.
Extra Action Tide, the best detergent on American soil. It's a real cleaning bargain.
2-1.
Flowers smell fresh.
They're plastic. The fresh scent's my new dishwashing liquid.
But why not Dawn?
This smells better. Clean and fresh.
The fresh scent's great, but you'll need Dawn to clean this mug, especially after that greasy pan.
No problem.
We'll see. Hey, water doesn't feel greasy. Or my hands. Hey, mug looks great. Okay, what is it?
New fresh scent Dawn.
Watch. Half a cup of grease added to dishwater. Dawn breaks up grease, surrounds it, takes grease out of your way, helps keep it from settling back.
Flowers smell fresh.
It's new fresh scent Dawn.
Dawn takes grease out of your way.
And now, it smells better than ever.
Well, Chief, I just got back from the waterfront, and it's kind of good news and bad news time, if you know what I mean.
All right, let's hear the good news first.
Well, the good news is that dredging operation that I told you about has absolutely nothing to do with Nancy Carr.
Hold on a second. It's not Nancy's body they're looking for.
Thank God.
Hold on, Calvin. Let me put you on a speakerphone. What's the bad news?
Well, the not-so-good part is I think I have located our embezzler friend, Mr. Gideon.
You don't mean that's whose body they think is floating in the bay, do you?
Well, there were some witnesses who reported seeing someone who answers his description in the area of the waterfront last night, and some of his clothing and personal effects were left behind.
So he decided to go swimming rather than go to prison?
Well, I suppose with all the publicity, he must have felt the net closing in.
Or he could have taken a boat ride instead.
Well, that's always a possibility. I mean, he could have just left the country. Those things could have been left there to make us think he was dead. Anyway, the dredging operation is still going on.
All right, when they find a body, let me know.
Sure thing. But to be perfectly honest, Chief, the only missing person I'm concerned about right now is Nancy Carr.
Yeah, I know, Calvin. I feel the same way. Look, Calvin, you're going to have company shortly. Mike is flying out west in a few hours.
Oh, really? Well, I'm not surprised to hear it. Look, would it help for me to meet him at the airport?
Yes, it would. He arrives... What time do you arrive?
Calvin, I'll be there at 1:30, Columbia Airlines.
Give me your full support, Calvin. Help me any way.
Sure, Chief, I'll be glad to. Listen, Mike, with any luck, by the time you arrive, I'll have some good news about your wife.
I certainly hope so. Talk to you later, Calvin.
Bye for now.
Well, maybe you won't have to prosecute Ira Gideon.
So I gather. But I'm glad you're keeping Calvin out there.
Calvin's more concerned about finding Nancy than he is about this Gideon case.
But Nancy went to the West Coast because of the Gideon case. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. But could there be a connection between Gideon's apparent suicide and Nancy's disappearance?
I don't see how, Mike.
Yeah, I guess it would be a long shot.
No, the timetable of events would put Nancy just arriving at the airport when Gideon was going down for the third time.
Well, there's no point in my theorizing until I get out there and do some digging.
Wish you the best of luck, Mike.
I better get home and pack so I can make that flight.
You'll be on the return flight with Nancy, I know it.
Yeah. Thanks for everything, Derek.
Oh, poor Mike, my God. All right, now where's my missing lady?
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Saxon?
Yes.
This is Derek Mallory. Could I speak to Raven, please?
Oh, she's Mallory. Well, I'm so sorry she isn't here.
Well, I was under the impression she never got up out of bed until afternoon.
Yes, well, actually, you just missed her, unfortunately. She said something to me about an early morning appointment.
Well, I'm going to be tied up myself with appointments all day, but I'll try to call back. Would you tell her I phoned?
Oh, yes, indeed I will. And have a pleasant day.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Early morning appointments, indeed.
Good morning.
Oh, well, the prodigal roommate returns.
Oh, it seems as if someone got out of the wrong side of the bed.
Really? Whose? You've just received a telephone call from Derek Mallory.
Really? What did you tell him?
I told him that you had just gone out.
Oh, good. How discreet of you.
You know, I really don't like lying for you, Raven.
Oh, what Derek doesn't know won't hurt him.
Now, I realize that you have taken up residence here just a short time ago. But I find it very difficult to believe that already you have forgotten the address and that it took you all night long to find your way home.
I'm a big girl now, Geraldine.
Yes, and altogether too independent for your own good.
Oh, well, I don't know what I did that was so terrible.
Now, don't misunderstand me. I am not passing judgment on your behavior.
Thank you.
But if we're going to be together, well, I would like to be shown a certain amount of consideration.
Like what?
If you're going to be out all night, I would like to know that in advance.
Well, I don't know what the big deal is.
Raven, this city is not the safest place to be after the sun goes down. Now, much as it surprises me, I do worry about you.
You're very sweet. All right, I'll make you a deal. I'll do as you ask if you let me know when you're going to stay out all night.
It's a deal.
All right. I really didn't expect the evening to go the way that it did, but I'm very glad it did.
Well, I think you should get some rest. I'm expecting a visitor shortly, and we'll try not to disturb you.
Oh, I'm not going to go to bed. I've rested quite enough. I'm going to change and go back out.
Oh. Well, in that case, perhaps I should install a revolving door.
Don't worry. I'm going to go out and do something cultural.
I have a headache, and well, the headache where it's hurting is right here on the top of my head.
Would you try extra-strength Tylenol? You can't buy a more potent pain reliever without a prescription.
I'd like to know, does it work?
Look at the difference in the amount of medicine in the leading pain relievers.
The extra-strength Tylenol has more medication. I want to try it. My headache is gone. I'm going to be buying extra-strength Tylenol from now on because it works.
Extra-strength Tylenol, aspirin-free, and you can't buy a more potent pain reliever without a prescription.
Looks like you've got an around-the-clock cleaning job.
Well, that's why we switched to Johnson's baby washcloths.
Johnson's clean better than ordinary wipes.
Because Johnson's are 2-ply thick.
Makes them stronger, to wipe up better, and more absorbent to clean better.
They're softer, too, so we can use them at every change. Softer for our baby.
Stronger to clean better.
Johnson's baby washcloths for a cleaner change from Johnson & Johnson.
I'm sorry that I'm a little bit late, Mrs. Saxon, but I had a hard time finding a parking space.
No, it's quite all right, my dear. Please do come in.
Jody? Oh, allow me to make formal introductions. Mrs. Saxon, this is my friend Jody Travis. Jody, this is Geraldine Saxon.
I'm pleased to meet you, Mrs. Saxon.
And I'm very pleased to meet you, Jody. I've heard a good deal about you.
Oh, good things, I hope.
It was a very generous gesture of yours. The bone marrow transplant for Nicole.
Well, thank you. I just hope it does her some good.
I'm sure it will. I can't wait to get her back in front of those news cameras.
Listen, if I'm going to be in the way here, I'll just leave.
No. Please, you couldn't be more welcome. Please sit down.
Kelly wanted me to meet his boss.
Well, actually, Mrs. Saxon isn't my boss yet. We've only had one preliminary meeting on this job offer. Mrs. Saxon, will I be reporting directly to the program director?
Yes, actually, Kelly, you'll be his associate in the area of children's programming.
Oh, that's wonderful. Kelly and his puppets are a hit wherever they go.
Of course, you realize that you won't be actually performing yourself on this job.
Oh, of course, I understand that.
But there's no reason why you shouldn't go ahead and continue your work with the puppets.
Well, I fully intend to. In fact, I've already agreed to do half a dozen charity shows, but I will be willing to give WMON all the time that it needs, and that's a promise.
Yeah, then I'd say you're practically a member of the firm. Jody, I understand that you're starting a new career of your own right now.
Oh, yes, with the Whitney Company. Well, at least I hope so.
As soon as Jody's leg feels better, she'll be joining the rehearsals.
I'm looking forward to seeing you on stage.
Well, they're auditioning dancers right now, so opening night shouldn't be too far off.
Russell, Faye, and James. Well, I want you to stick around. I want you to do another slight variation of the same routine. The rest of you, thank you very much.
Yes, I'd like to see them do that kicking. And, what do you call that? Kick and shuffle combination you taught me the other day. It was quite something.
Well, that's a good idea. You know, it's such a pleasure to be able to make these decisions without having to go to his lord and master for his approval.
Especially since his knowledge of the dance is very limited.
There were a couple of dancers he didn't want to hire last week, and they were wonderful.
I know.
I think you just want to be contrary.
Well, I'm afraid Sky is like that sometimes.
Yeah, well, hopefully the Springfield airport will be socked in with fog, and it'll stay that way for a week.
Socked in with fog. Hello? Can I come in?
Dog, go walk yourself.
Okay. Okay, dog. Cool it. Listen, I'll take you for a walk.
Lamar Hall needs Coast deodorant soap, the eye-opener. No other soap refreshes like Coast with its exhilarating scent. No soap has bubblier lather. Coast brings you back to life.
Come on, dog. We out here to go walking. Come on now. We're out here to go walking.
Bring yourself back to life with Coast, the eye-opener.
Mom, how could you?
What?
Drowning nature's vegetables in that heavy oil.
Crisco oil's light.
Light?
No oil tastes lighter.
So?
So there's no heavy oily taste.
Mom!
On your salad. Here, nature girl.
No heavy oily taste.
This is so organic.
I think it's delicious.
Huh?
Why do Crisco oil salads taste great?
No heavy oily taste.
And Crisco oil has no cholesterol.
Hi, Minnie.
These
prices are murder. Even my floor cleaner.
Looks like my spick and span is the last real value in town.
Spick and span?
Why, sure. This one box cleans more than those 2 bottles and costs a lot less.
Cleans more than 2 bottles and costs less?
It's better, too. Cleans the daylights out of greasy, waxed-in dirt. Farsight's better than any leading liquid. Now, that's right clean at the right price. Spick and span, the right clean at the right price.
Now available in the new 32-ounce size.
This is the place where they're auditioning for the dance company, isn't it?
I'm sorry. These are open auditions, but it's not an open house.
Oh, that's all right. I'll just tuck myself away in a little corner and you won't even know I'm here.
I'm sorry. There are no spectators allowed. Now, if you want to see the Whitney Dance Company, you're going to have to wait till we open.
Well, look, someone told me that I could come here and watch whenever I wanted.
Who extended this invitation?
Skylar Whitney. Your boss, I believe?
I see.
Yes, he said I could come watch whenever I wanted, so.
We're extremely busy today, Miss...
Swift. Raven Swift. Look, why don't you go talk to Skylar? I'm sure he'll straighten this whole thing out.
Mr. Whitney isn't here today.
Well, then you'll just have to take my word for it, won't you?
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
What is your name?
Wiley. Gavin Wiley. I'm the choreographer. This is also my studio, and what I say goes here.
Oh, Gavin, you don't have to be such a hard nose. We can accommodate Mrs. Swift. After all, a friend of Sky is a friend.
Martine, we don't have the time or space to accommodate this intrusion, especially if it's to please one of Sky's lady friends.
Yes, but I'm sure Mrs. Swift won't be in the way. I take full responsibility. How's that?
All right, but if she gets in the way, she goes. Excuse me, I have auditions to attend to.
He's a little ray of sunshine, isn't he?
Oh, you have to excuse my friend Gavin. He's working under a great deal of pressure lately.
Well, where is Skylar?
Sky is out of town on business. I expect him back tonight, actually.
I see. Well, it's nice to see you again, Martine. I can call you that, can I?
Sure you can.
Well, I know we only met once and very briefly, but, you know, I am sort of the niece of Geraldine Saxon, and Sky is her nephew.
Which makes me a friend of the family.
Yeah, something like that.
And you and Sky cousins?
Well, cousin-in-law, shall we say.
Yes.
He's a very charming man.
Yes, Sky is a very charming man.
Yes. How long have you known him?
Just over a year. Why?
Well, that makes you a very lucky girl. I mean, Skylar is a very creative person, and it must be nice to have someone so wealthy in the arts be your friend when you're a dancer.
Yes, it helps at times.
And I hear that you're the star of his company. That's wonderful.
Picked me right out of the gutter. Well, you will excuse me, but I have a lot of work to do. It was nice talking with you.
Yes, we'll have lunch sometime, okay?
That can be arranged.
Have a good audition.
Thank you.
Oh, what do you see in her? Very interesting couple.
If I'd known that my visit was going to be such a downer for you, I would have stayed away.
My mood has absolutely nothing to do with you. You know that. I'm happy you're here.
It's a situation, huh?
Very good.
I was hoping that a little time might soften your attitude towards Draper.
Not a chance.
Well, I still think you're compounding the problem by staying apart.
Can we please not go through all of this again?
Okay,
Thank you.
fine,
Thank you.
Fine. All right. Aren't you a little bit lonely here all by yourself?
No, I'm fine.
You're not fine, April. And Draper can't be having much fun sharing Cliff Nelson's apartment.
Well, apparently Draper isn't living with Cliff Nelson anymore.
Oh, what did he do? Go to the law club? That's no bargain either.
No, looks like he's got himself another little roommate.
What do you mean?
He spent last night with Emily Michaels.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't attest to his spending the whole entire night there, but I can assure you that I woke him up from a very sound slumber in the wee hours of the morning.
There must be some mistake.
Oh, yes, well, I called Emily Michaels' apartment last night, and guess who answered the phone? And I do know my own husband's voice.
Well, what did he say?
I didn't give him a chance to say much. As soon as he said hello, I hung up.
Well, you see, now, you're probably making more out of it than there is.
I don't believe you. I have just recently separated from my husband, who ends up moving in with the lady who is the cause of the split, and you expect me to slough the whole thing off.
I am just saying you're letting your stubborn pride get in the way of your common sense. Now, there's obviously some reasonable explanation for this.
Like what?
I don't know what it is, but Draper's made it very clear to me that he doesn't even want to talk to Emily, much less spend the night with her.
Well, maybe our situation has made Emily look a lot more attractive to Draper.
Draper loves you. He loves only you.
Well, then you tell me what he was doing with her last night.
Look, you know perfectly well Emily has caused friction between you and Draper before by manipulating situations, hasn't she?
Boy, has she.
Well, it's probably the same thing right now. I am sure that Draper's totally innocent.
Well, then why hasn't he called me?
Maybe he will.
He knows exactly where I am.
He knows where I am. Oh, that's fine. You're just going to sit here and stew and let all that resentment and anger build up in you.
You think you know so much. What do you suggest I do?
That's ridiculous. I'm not going to stand here and let you do this to yourself. If you won't ask Draper what was going on last night, I will.
I will not.
You don't want me to use your phone? I use my own.
Don't you dare breathe a word of this to Draper. It is none of your business. Look, I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm being unreasonable. All I want is that woman and her unborn baby to vanish, to disappear. Oh, my God, disappear. I forgot about Nancy.
What about her?
Mike called me. Nancy went to San Francisco on an assignment, and apparently she never showed up at her hotel.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Mike's pretty worried about it.
Well, couldn't she have missed her plane or been delayed?
Yeah, I'm sure those are all possibilities. Look, I don't know if this means anything or has anything to do with anything, but Nancy was here a couple of days ago, and we were talking about my situation, Draper, Emily, and the baby. And, well, I was telling her about a conversation I'd had with Logan, and, well, we were just talking about the Draper's paternity and the questionability of the whole thing.
I'm sure Nancy was very sympathetic.
More than that, she wants to be of some help.
In what way?
Well, she feels if there's the least possibility that Emily is lying and Draper is not the father, then that it should be investigated.
Yeah, well?
Well, she said she was going to do some investigating on her own, and the next thing I know, she's disappeared. And I can't help but wonder if there's possibly some connection.
Chester for Carpet Fresh.
As the one who's closest to the carpet, I'd like to share some of my thoughts with you about a great rug and room deodorizer, Carpet Fresh. It keeps your carpet not only smelling cleaner, but looking cleaner too. Just look at the difference between a rug that was vacuumed regularly with Carpet Fresh and one that wasn't. Remember, Carpet Fresh keeps your carpet not only smelling cleaner, but looking cleaner too. And I wouldn't think that on television if it wasn't true.
Which chicken noodle soup tastes better, Campbell's or Lipton?
I like this one. It's delicious. It's a very rich, hearty chicken noodle soup. And it's something that I would feed my children after school.
Let's see what you didn't choose.
Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
I'm going to show you the one you chose.
Lipton chicken noodle soup. I would have never guessed.
In a home use test, people chose Lipton 2-to-1. Lipton chicken noodle with meat. The taste that beat Campbell's 2-to-1.
And I am switching to Lipton chicken noodle soup.
Linda Carter must use all her cunning abilities when confronted by her evil Nazi counterpart on Wonder Woman tonight at 6. Then later, Fred sees the end of his junk business when Lamont takes a job as a clothing salesman on Sanford & Son tonight at 7 on Channel 48.
Well, Mike wanted to know if I was aware of any change in Nancy's plans. He had seen my name in her appointment book.
Well, when was the last time you heard from it?
Late last night.
Well, the mystery might have been solved by now.
I doubt it. He promised he'd call me if he got any word, and I haven't heard.
Well, why don't we call him? Do you know his number?
Yeah.
Hello?
Mike, it's Miles Cavanaugh.
Oh, Miles, what can I do for you?
Well, I'm at April's apartment. She just told me about you not having heard from Nancy.
I still haven't heard, unfortunately.
Was there any news?
Well, we've confirmed that Nancy was on her flight to San Francisco, but nobody's seen her since she arrived.
You have any idea what might have happened?
No, none.
Is there anything April and I can do?
Yeah. Cross your fingers and hope there was some kind of mix-up and that everything's all right.
I assume you've contacted the police.
Oh, yeah. The San Francisco police are looking for her now. Miles, I hate to be rude, but I've got to run. I'm booked on a flight to San Francisco to see what I can find out for myself. Thanks for calling.
If she should show up to check in at the hotel, you get a hold of me at that number, and I mean it doesn't matter what time of day or night it is. That's right, now the name's Stoner. Detective Calvin Stoner. I really appreciate your cooperation. Thank you.
Still nothing?
No, not a word.
I could have told you that call would be a waste of a dime.
Well, really?
It's a pain going through the motions. But I guess you have to follow procedure.
What are you talking about?
You know how it usually turns out in cases like this. 9 times out of 10, we're looking for someone who's been dead for the past 24 hours.
Oh, I see. Well, thanks for sharing your optimism.
I'm just trying to be realistic. And this case isn't any different. The lady's dead, mister.
That dog is my black dog champion, Briarwood's Fleetside Kai.
Kai is one of the top winning labs in the United States. The diet is cow canned dog food.
Gary and Margaret Maxwell, top breeders of champion Labradors.
It's got the meat they love, plus all the vitamins and minerals they need.
It contributes to their coat. It contributes to their muscle tone. You can see the overall energy when we work them. If you love your dogs like we love our dogs, you'll feed them cow canned dog food.
Another top breeder recommends cow can.
You can't wish their coughs away. You can't hug their coughs away. You can give them Novahistine, because you can't buy better care for a cough. Novahistine and Robitussin both contain active ingredients, but these Novahistine cough products all have a cough suppressant, dextromethorphan. Only half the Robitussin cough products contain any cough suppressant. So give them Novahistine and a hug, because you can't buy better care for a cough.
Tonight at 8, Channel 48 continues with the Planet of the Apes saga. When it comes to a horse race, the apes enjoy a good bet. But in tonight's movie, the odds are not very good for the human jockey. Roddy McDowell stars in Treachery and Greed on the Planet of the Apes. Now stay tuned as Melissa Gilbert and Dodie Goodman star in Love Boat next.
The clocks our grandparents owned. The shining pendulum gracefully swings with the passing seconds. Listen as the chimes musically mark the hour and half hour. Can you think of a nicer way to keep time? Or to add a touch of elegance to any room in your home? Truly, this grandfather clock makes any room special. Living room, family room, kitchen. It looks and sounds so authentic, friends may mistake it for an antique. Yet you can own this electric grandfather pendulum clock with chimes for the surprisingly low price of just $19.95.
Bank card and COD orders, call toll-free 1-800-331-1000. Or save COD charges, send $19.95 for one or $34.95 for two to Chime Clock, Post Office Box 48119, Chicago, Illinois 60648. Bank card and COD orders, call 1-800-331-1000.
WKBS, Burlington, Philadelphia.
Shoot himself into space.
Yes, excuse me.
Miss Jane, ain't you going to stop him?
Stop him? I'm going to light his fuse.